former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, Fox News contributor, and his new movie, which sounds really fascinating, is called Route 60, and that is out now. So, Secretary, great to have you with us. Thank you very much for being here. You served in the military, obviously. So this is how does this happen? How do we lose an F-35? I mean, I can find my phone if it's lost, at a place I was yesterday, and they can't find an F-35.
I got a notice on my AirPod just a little bit ago that I'd wandered away from them.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. It's unexplainable, and most importantly to date, it's unexplained. I hope Mr. Kirby will be able to explain to the American people. It's important for the whole world to understand how a fifth-generation fighter, America's most capable jet fighter that we have now sold to countries all across the world, somehow inside of our own country, wanders off the electronic and physical grid. I can't explain it. It's hard to account for. Maybe there was something nefarious that happened. Maybe some foreign party jammed the. It's hard. I'm truly hypothesizing now, but it's very difficult to imagine how you lose communications and control of the location of an aircraft with this sophistication.
Is it, there's been some suggestion that it's because it's stealth. It was stealth even from the people who it's not supposed to be stealth from.
Seems unlikely to me. We should be able to be in contact not only with our pilot, but with the equipment itself from multiple places. We fly scores and scores of these training missions all the time. So the task that it was engaged in, as I understand it, was relatively common. So it's unexplainable that could be. It's not the stealth capability that caused this problem. I'd be shocked if that was it.
So they've shut down aviation operations. What do you think this? So you think either this was a foreign interference act potentially, or some negligence or some inefficiency in the current military?
Look, things break. Equipment breaks. And that happens all the time in training. That's why we learn. By the way, that's why we fly these hours to learn about the capabilities and where the risks are and where the gaps are. So could be as simple as a mechanical electronic failure, but we need to know the answer to that. Clearly, the armed forces are worried about this as well, since they've not just responded by saying, hey, we figured it out, but rather by grounding the fleet. I suspect that's the wise thing to do to keep all of our pilots safe and people on the ground safe. We were very blessed that this landed where it did. And I hope they not only get to the bottom of it, but they put a articulable, reasonable response to us that is accurate and reflects what really happened here. It's important for our national security that our adversaries know we know what happened here as well.
Let me ask you this before I let you go. The president spoke today at the UN. He spoke in a little bit about China. Basically said, we're not making efforts to try to contain China. That's not our goal here. Hasn't met with President Xi in quite some time. They may be face-to-face in November. Was today a missed opportunity to send a message about China or about China's relationship with North Korea and Russia?
I certainly think so. Today on the world stage, he didn't make clear that he's going to protect every American from the threat from the Chinese Communist Party. That threat's not just in the Taiwan Strait, which he didn't discuss either, if I heard it all correctly, but he didn't talk about the threat it poses us to here at home, whether that's through propaganda, through social media, whether that's the espionage operations. Right here in the city that we're sitting in, they're running a police station harassing American citizens of Chinese ethnicity. The president didn't speak much about this. He simply said, can't we all just get along? I think that's a real mistake. If you're trying to deter the Chinese Communist Party, you need to make clear the objections that you have to their behavior, and you need to make clear to them the responses that you intend to undertake if they don't begin to conform to the basic norms of national requirements. What do you think
the goal is here? Because he also said, he's not interested in decoupling from China. He wants to de-risk, right? So they're all about, and you see it with their interaction with Iran as well, lowering the temperature, stabilizing the situation. So that's their foreign policy. That's the way that they are going about this. So the question is, where does that lead? I mean, maybe that's a good idea. Maybe it does de-escalate. What do you see?
So, Martha, I would just suggest this. They tried to de-escalate with the Iranians. They're still trying to kill lots of Americans and wipe Israel from the face of the earth. They attempted to de-escalate in Afghanistan. 13 Americans killed. In Afghanistan, we have a war in Europe. Appeasement just begets risk for the United States. And so I think it is a failed effort to say, can't we all just get along, when the Chinese Communist Party knows that that's a message that says we can walk all over America.
All right, I just have a couple seconds, but your movie I'm very interested in, called Route 60, about one of the most fascinating highways in the history of the world. I was just in this area recently. Tell us about the movie real quick.
So we walked what's the historic biblical road Route 60 in Judea and Samaria. We walked to places that Americans can't often get, and it was really lovely. I told the stories from the New Testament and the Christian perspective. Ambassador Friedman told the Old Testament stories from a Orthodox Jewish perspective. It's a lot of fun. It's a beautiful movie. I hope folks will go see it. It's in theaters today.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Secretary Pompeo. Always good to see you.
Martha,
and
wonderful
especially
to see
nice
you.
to have you on set in New York.
Great
Thank you very much, sir.